Hello everyone, welcome back to another Wi-Fi production. Apologies for the delay in the content creation. You see, your boy was out touching grass and managed to land a job. I know, very impressive, very nice. Anyway, if you were lucky enough to watch the last video where I discussed the cheating problem in DBD, I mentioned I would be taking a break from DBD, and I kid you not, of course, knowing my luck, behavior ended up giving me early access to the what I would call ETV early test build. I played this on stream, and that's ultimately what today's video is going to be about. You see, this new air quotes on Angel Killer, it's kind of trash. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, you see, I was never able to actually get into a game against real players, but from the games I have seen where this Angel Killer went against real players, first of all, the Angel Killer itself is so incredibly tall, it can be seen from over most loops in the game, so mind games are going to be ultimately almost impossible. And it feels to me like most of the people who have gotten real PvP access with this killer have gone against really bad survivors. I'm seeing clips of people just like trick-shotting with this new killer, and they've only been playable for, what, a little over a week at this point by the time you're probably seeing this video. And that's not even beginning to mention the fact that most console players will never ever buy or play this killer, right? This killer is 4.4, has a ranged power that cannot and will not harm survivors if it's too close to them. So already we're 4.4 and we're being punished for using our power close to survivors. Okay, so you would logically think this is some kind of sniper killer, right? Well, here's the problem. With the amount of aura reading perks in this game and the amount of anti-aura reading perks in this game, this killer ultimately just becomes a one-trick pony of protecting hex totems, of trying to get trick shots halfway across the map. And when you do end up downing a survivor, when you do throw them into the exile realm, there is nothing you can do to stop a survivor from running halfway across the map where you down them from, retrieving their buddy, healing them up, and then just hopping on a gen, right? This killer is basically an artist, but in the form of a slingshot mechanic, right? And in theory, it sounds good, but in practice, it's just not. Overall, if I had to rate the killer, I'd, like, against bots, I had a decent time, right? And you have to remember, too, bots have wall hacks, right? They see what you're going to do before you do it. They cannot be mind gamed 9 out of 10 times, right? So against bots, I'd give the killer like an 8 out of 10, but I know really, really well that against real players, while I may be able to catch them off guard sometimes, 9 out of 10 times, by the time I get 1, maybe 2 downs, all the gens are going to be done, and everyone's out. So probably a 6 out of 10, which is like C tier, you know, just barely above the worst of the worst. And in terms of their perks, the Hex perk is nice. The one that limits haste, it's nice, but the problem is, I learned very quickly on the ETB, as I like to call it, that Shadow Step, Boon Shadow Step, is going to become a very popular pick for at least the first week or so when this killer's released, and here's why. You see, one of this killer's perks is one that reveals the Obsession's aura every 30 seconds for X amount of seconds, I forget. And before I forget, I did try the Generator Regression perk with other killers and stuff, and to be completely honest, against bots it's good, but against real players it's trash, and I'll tell you why. The reason why it's trash against real players is because 9 times out of 10, when you do kick a gen, let's say with pop or overcharge, oppression, stuff like that, there's going to be a survivor who is within like 20 to 30 feet who's just sitting there watching you do it, and the moment you leave, they hop right on that gen. So unless you bring a perk like Dragon's Grip, you're not really going to get that much value out of this perk. But anyway, what I did in the ETB was I ran the new Boon Steadfast, which slows the amount of regression gens have overall within the Boon's range by 50%, and gives you, the survivors, who are repairing gens in this Boon range, plus 10% repair speed. So Boon Steadfast combined with the one boon, or one of the boons, that hides your aura, Shadow Step, it basically just allows you to get extremely easy dodges because the killer has no idea where you are, right? Basically at all. As long as you're staying within that shadow step area or you're in a locker, this killer has basically no tracking value, right? They have no map pressure. And I'll show in the video that you're watching right now, the footage, I managed to get a match where everyone got out in just over 5 minutes. I mean, it was just absolutely ridiculous, man. I felt horrible for this killer. I was genuinely thinking about just giving them a free kill, but the problem is behavior balances everything around statistics, and a free kill to them is a earned kill, right? So when it comes to testing like this, it's best to just play the game normally, because if you don't, you're going to end up accidentally skewing the statistics in one way or another, which will then result in some kind of nerf. And the whole time I was playing this killer live, me and people in my chat were talking about how we can already see certain aspects of this killer being nerfed right off the bat. I mean, the fact that this killer basically has range over the entirety of the map, I can already see that being nerfed. I think, despite the fact that this killer's projectile is extremely noticeable and can be dodged within, 2 seconds, if even that, I think the projectile speed will probably be nerfed. It's ridiculous to even think or say, but that's just the reality. Ultimately, I don't see anyone playing this killer past the first month that they're out, really. I don't. This whole chapter really just, it makes me realize that behavior genuinely has no idea what they're doing or where they're going, right? Like, I could sit here and talk about the Mori not being the one we voted for, then how they went on Twitter and were like, oh, well, due to engine limitations. If engine limitations made it so that you couldn't implement that Mori, then why even make it an option? Genuinely. It's just common sense. If you can't do it, then don't make it an option. Simple as that. A lot of Aurora's perks, right? The other two outside of Steadfast, I don't really see myself using. Fruits of Labor or whatever, that perk is really bad unless you're a gen jockey and you just plan on sitting on gens the entire game. So in the end, I do think that if you have the shards and you want the perks, go ahead and get the killer. But to be completely honest, if you don't, skip it. Seriously, like just skip it. This killer's a bit of a letdown, and it's crazy seeing how killers like Jason, for example, right? He has 3 different Moris, right? And he's also 4.4, 4.6 when he teleports. But this Angel killer, heavy air quotes on Angel, has 0 map mobility, has a basically sniper rifle type projectile, right? Which can be countered by hopping in a locker. And not to mention the exile, when you send a survivor there, no hook perks are activated, right? So Pain Res, Grim Embrace, none of that's going to work. Weeping Wounds, the list goes on. And ultimately, this killer, they need buffs. She needs buffs, just straight up. I would maybe lower the distance before the ranged projectile becomes lethal by maybe 2 meters, right? I think the fact that you can hit a survivor 3 or 4 times in a row and see it hit them and nothing happens is really stupid. I think maybe it should work something kind of like the Krasu, where in the headlong form or whatever, you hit a survivor like 2 or 3 times, it damages them, right? It infects them, then you can damage them. Even then, I still think that'd be pretty weak. And ultimately, I really don't think behavior even cares. Like, genuinely, the whole time I was playing this killer, I wasn't even really having fun. I mean, the killer's design's awesome. The art department always knocks it out of the ballpark every single time, without a doubt. But this killer feels like it wasn't made for me. It wasn't made for most people. I think this killer's pick rate may end up being even lower than the artists over time, which is not a good thing, you know? Everyone voted on aspects of this killer, including myself, and ultimately, although the entire community did vote on this, it doesn't really feel like something made for anyone. And to be completely honest, I do also think that behavior should have just opened up the ETB to everyone. You know, they're touting everywhere about how, oh, this was made by you, for you. It's like, okay, then why don't you open this for everyone? It just, long story short, I could sit here and rant all day about behavior, the state of Dead by Daylight. You guys know me. And this chapter was a bit of a letdown. And similar to content creators like Evil Vora, I don't know, man. Sprint Burst Vigil got nerfed, and I still expect it to be one of the most used perk combos in the game, because ultimately it's still going to destroy over half the killer roster in terms of, you know, just getting away for free without doing anything. In the end, man, that's all I really got to say. I think Behavior Interactive is kind of scared that Halloween's on the horizon. I do think that they are planning on changing perks and all this nonsense to hopefully give most killer players some kind of hope that the game will ultimately become better in the long run. And I don't know what to think about that, man. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this game is going to continue to go down the road it is right now of just endless second chances, endless handholds, it's just endlessly rewarding bad playstyles and bad behaviors. I mean, a great example, look at Lights Out right now. As of right now, this is still going on, and survivors get base kit windows. They get basically base kit deja vu. They can see the aura of the closest generator when they have a lantern and hold M2 or whatever the button is if you're on console. The horror aspect of Dead by Daylight has been gone for a while now, and I was looking forward to playing Lights Out there for a little bit, but man, in the end, let me know what you guys think down below. Are you going to get the Angel Killer? If so, what do you think about the perks? What do you think about Aurora Star Gazer, Star Daughter? I forget her name, to be honest with you. If you like the video, feel free to drop a like and or subscribe. But yeah, man, thanks for giving me your time. God bless. Take care. Peace.